So I've struggled a bit with getting a 64-bit assembler working here on this machine. This is the first time I've ever actually played with it. Years ago, I played with a 68,000 assembler. Actually worked with it, doing a code-based conversion from assembler to C a long time ago. But I wanted to start playing with a 64-bit assembler and just focus on making things a little bit faster and more efficient with my code by getting a better understanding of assembler, so I could eventually get to working with graphics and visuals and optimization by doing assembler. So what I've got here is a basic framework of a Hello World application that I ended up finding. I found many of them online, and what I was interested in doing was getting away from dependencies on anything except OS dependencies. So no C or C++ library dependencies, and just basically focusing strictly on OS dependencies only, and doing a straight, just normal Hello World application that actually works from the command line. So this is the one I landed on, and I was having a heck of a time trying to get this set up to begin with. And it's not as easy as I had anticipated. So I'm just going to take you through the step-by-step process of what I ended up doing. So here's the application. It works. It's actually pretty good. And here's the Hello World portion of it right here. And if you go over here to, I have a directory, Hello World directory that I created for it. As you can see, there's two different files here, the hello world.asm, which is this file right here, and the build hw.bat, and that's actually right here. Now, I've got a little cleanup functionality that I put in that batch file, and this is just my own homemade custom batch file that I ended up putting together. And this right here, it has two steps for the compilation process, for basically taking the assembly and converting it into an object file, and then from there converting it into an executable. So the first step is NASM, which is the compiler that'll actually take it and convert it into object code, and that requires this utility. Now there's a lot of different assemblers out there. I just wanted to focus on open source and something that was kind of standard, and that's what I landed on. One of the other ones I took a look at was GoLink and GoASM, but I found out that was 32-bit only. I want something that's hardened and that's 64-bit. That was one of my requirements. So NASM was something that I absolutely needed. Now, if you want to download that, here's the website that you go to: nasm.us/pub/NASM/release builds. And if you go to the parent website here, the NetWide assembler, it's just nasm.us. You click on downloads, and I don't do RCs, release candidates. I focus strictly on the published and full builds. So I ended up doing 3.0.1. And at this point, there's a zip file. So actually, here's 164, that's where it went. Yeah, it has a full installer for it. So it will modify the path and make sure that you can actually access NASM. I always use an admin level command prompt. So with that, I can actually go here and type in NASM, and boom, it comes up and it's already in my path because of that installer. So part 2 of that batch file build is this GCC command. I have it all on one line. I could separate it out to 2 lines if I want to, but I like this format. So GCC, in the output, is going to be the Hello World application itself. It's taking the object file generated from NASM, and it's telling it to not include any standard libraries. So my understanding is that actually forces the omission of C libraries that are actually linked to it. And also, this is telling it to use the kernel. Is that omission of kernel? I don't know. I'm going to have to find that one out. So I'm new to GCC as well. Usually I'm working with Visual Studio. So now GCC is the next key component to building a simple generic Hello World application. That's it's the C compiler at its root, but it's also an assembler. Leverages assembly files, and that is a little bit tougher. This is where I actually started having some problems. Now, the thing I found out that I needed was I needed to go to the min GW. That's what I'm using. There's a lot of different variations for GCC type compilers, and or not compilers, the linkers basically. And well, it is a compiler and a linker. But anyways, what I learned about this was there's a lot of different versions that could be used for this, and in particular, you've got 132 versions, but in order to get the 64-bit, that was imperative for me, the 64-bit executable that is going for it, you have to get this from this website. So this is GitHub / I'm going to put all these in the links in the comments and on YouTube anyways. But Nixman, MinGW builds, binaries, releases. So just pause it to look at that if you want to, or just grab the URL from down below. So anyways, something I learned along the way was the POSIX ones are the ones that I wanted, and and the reason for it is because it has tighter threading. So I'm focused on efficiency and learning assembler for the first time. So like I said, this is my first time actually doing Intel assembler, but I thought I'd just share the process I went through to build a simple hello world application. So the POSIX is for tighter thread control threading, and the UCRT is the one that does not include the MSV CRT. I don't want to use C references. I want to do strict assembler with no C type references or anything like that built into it. So you do not want to use the i686. That's actually a 32-bit library. This is the one I actually used right here. So the 95 meg, that one is the one I used. So once that's done, at that point, you see the two files that I've got here. That build file right there, that will actually clean it. Type in build HW, deletes my object files. I don't know why the echo off didn't work. Oh, okay. And at that point, the build, if I do a quick directory, I've got my hello world executable there, hello world, and we'll see it outputs hello world, just like it's supposed to. Now, if I do a quick change to this, boom, we'll go over here and says, Q was here. Hi, hello, world. It's just, and there's a length calculation right here. That's actually what I noticed how this actually works. Let the assembler calculate the string length, which is pretty nifty. Close, copy that, and at this point, do a build again. I have a new executable there. You see the date, 12/34. That's accurate. Hello world. Boom. Q is here. Hello my world. It's easy as that. But the tough setup, especially for getting it set up for 64-bit, is two things. Number one, making sure this little comment here, command prompt parameter, includes the -F/ Win64 to explicitly state this has to be compiled using 64-bit. And then this knows to pick up the libraries, no problem. However, if you're using a 32-bit library or a 32-bit version of GCC, it will fail. And that was the biggest problem I encountered that just made this an utter bitch to figure out. And it literally took me 4 hours to figure out. I'm brand new to this. I've got years of development experience, but this little thing frustrated me to no end because I couldn't get a good answer. So once you get that figured out and realize that, hey, I've got the correct version of GCC installed, and it knows that this is a 64-bit OBJ file that it's generated, at that point all the errors go away, and what you see is what you get, the hello world.exe. Anyways, hopefully this helps and makes it a little bit easier for you to get started with doing your hello world application in 64-bit assembler. Take care.